Hello, and welcome to episode 4 of Thinking Out Loud podcast with myself, Marissa Wu, and Ashlyn Little. We are so happy for you guys to be tuning in again for us. We are going to go over a great topic today and just kind of catch up. So, hello, babe. How are you?
Hi, I'm so excited. I always get excited to do these little podcasts so we can catch up. And of course, thank you guys for tuning in. We are actually super excited to talk about this episode today, and this topic because I do think that it is extremely important. I do think it's something that we don't really discuss, as frequently, or it's not something that a lot of top athletes and pros in the industry really discuss, on a regular basis. So I think that it'll be a super good episode for you guys. And we're just going to catch up a little bit. I've had the craziest day today. Like, I think about my day and I'm just like, oh my gosh, it's been a roller coaster since I woke up. But there was like a little outage, like a shortage outage, whatever you want to call it, for my cellular for AT&T today. And a lot of people were experiencing it because I saw it on Instagram. But I had appointments, and obviously I don't know how to get anywhere in Tampa yet. So I was like, oh my gosh, I can't even get to my appointments because I can't use my GPS. Oh,
So sad how dependent we are on our phones.
oh my gosh. I was like, wow, this is actually really sad. Like, I really need to start paying attention more when I'm driving, just in case something like this ever happens again. So definitely going to be paying attention when I'm driving.
Don't lie.
But
Don't lie. You're not going to pay attention. You're going to be taking selfies or on your phone texting or on Instagram. Don't lie. Don't lie.
I don't do selfies and drive. Okay. That's not bad.
Oh, that's
That's
just
not good
me.
to do.
The
Red
amount
lights,
of
red
times
lights only.
I've I've always almost killed us. But I think you're immune to it. I think you've gotten used to my driving, so you don't freak
Absolutely
out. You
not.
just
I literally grip the side and like grip my teeth the whole time I'm in the car with you.
oh, I guess I just don't recognize. Oops.
You're just used to my scaredness.
I'm like laddie daddy da. Oh, that's a red light, but I ran it. My bad. I hope police aren't listening to this.
I am crying. Oh my gosh. But yeah, today was a good day. I was supposed to have body work and I couldn't get to my appointment. So no body work for me today. But I
I
did make it to
literally
my
said, I was like,
appointment.
you could have, I was like, you could have just texted me and I ordered you an Uber. Like, I 100% would have done that, but you didn't think of me. You just decided not to go.
I honestly didn't think about that at all. Like, I could have texted Casey, I could have texted you. Like, I didn't even think about that. I would think I was just in panic mode.
And I don't think that's like someone's initial thought because I typically am like, people order Ubers for each other, but I've done that in the past for people and people have done it for me where like my phone wasn't working. But now you know. So when in doubt, call 20 and I'll get you an Ubs. Got
All
you.
right, all right. I will remember that next time. But
The rest of you
yeah,
guys listening, I'm sorry, I'm not paying for random Ubers. Get 20.
you're gonna get all these messages, DMs. Hey, can you give me
Um,
an Uber?
excuse me, I need to go from California to Arizona. Can you call me an Uber? No.
I am dead. But yeah, it was a good week this week. Actually, I was in Miami this past weekend. We had so much fun.
I
It was one
saw.
of my friends' birthdays, so we went and had fun, and we were missing you.
I know. I was so jealous. FOMO. I was like, damn, those are all my friends. I just want to be there.
Guys, I really, really advise you guys when you're in off season, have fun, live your life, do fun things, make memories with your friends, like still be, on your whatever program you're on. And, if you have a coach, like, of course, like do what you need to do, but also like enjoy life, make memories, especially if you are prepping often or like are in that stage where you feel like you're constantly just in that mode. Like that's how I've been trying really hard to like force myself to do things because I get so in a routine that
Mhm.
like I hate getting off my routine. But I want to, do more of like making memories and meeting new people and just like seeing the people that I hardly ever get to see, which is so nice to just like go and be able to do some things for a weekend and like get away for a while. So
Yeah,
do
I couldn't
do
agree
all the
more.
things.
I think I literally just came to this realization maybe like a month ago is that I probably not you last year, but I've prepped like majority of the years. Like I prep many, many months out of the year, and I realize I don't leave time for enjoying life. And again, at our level, there's not always that level of balance, especially in prep. But in your improvement season, you're able to find time to enjoy yourself, enjoy company of friends, vacations, family, food, while still being on your plan. And that's something I am still working on. And you've done a really good job with that. I've even told my mom that. I said, Ash does a really good job at locking in when she needs to and allowing herself and giving herself some grace in the off season, enjoying life.
Yeah, I mean, we're so strict all the time. Like I'm prepping, 8 months out of the year most of the time. So like
Mhm.
the 3, 4 months I get to have, just kind of traveling and doing fun things and, going out and having fun. I never used to do that. Like if I did, it was like going for like an event, like a family thing or, for a birthday or something like that. And I would always feel so guilty. Like I don't know what it was. I would just always feel so guilty for going and having fun and having a few drinks and hanging out with my friends and stuff. Like I just, I'm so strict all the time that I would feel so guilty for doing that type of stuff, but I've been really really trying hard to not be so hard on myself about, going out and just enjoying life. And I didn't work out, guys. I literally did not work out for 3 days. When I was there, I was just like, no, I'm in the moment, I'm living in the moment. I work out every day. I'm so disciplined all the time that it's not going to affect you when you do that, for a random weekend or whatever. Like that's the whole purpose of like staying consistent, is that when you do have these weekends where it's like, hey, I don't have to train for these 3 days, my body will probably appreciate the rest. And then that day that I got back home, I went and I trained glutes, which I was really tired, but oh my gosh, I had the best glute workout ever because I was just, rested and like my body just really loved it. So I really do encourage you to like, enjoy life, have fun. Don't beat yourself up if you, can't train for 3 days, but you want to go on a vacation and enjoy that with your, friends or family or significant other or whatever. Like allow yourself to have that time and not put so much like guilt on yourself for doing that.
Yeah, and I agree. And guys, you're listening to number 8 in the world. You can afford to take a few days off of the gym. Your muscle is not going to go anywhere. Like it's very hard. Trust me, ladies, it is very hard to strip muscle. I've been trying to do that with my legs for years, and it's very, very hard. Don't worry about losing muscle or getting fat. Like nothing's going to change. Just enjoy the moment and hop back on plan right when you get back home.
Yep. And we'll kind of segue into our topic for today. But before we segue into the topic, I do want to know, where are you at right now? What are you doing?
I'm in Northern California right now. So flew back about a week ago. My brother's actually getting married. Well, he's getting married in August. That's the set wedding date, which you are more than welcome to come and party with my family and I.
Yes.
um you'll be the only white girl there. Just a bunch of
It's
Asians.
fine.
The golden white girl. But my grandparents, it's sad, but it's a good realization. My grandpa just keeps saying he doesn't know if he's gonna make it to August. He just, he's not doing well. He's I think 98, so he's kicking and grooving, but he keeps telling my brother and my
Wow.
right. I'm like, damn, those woo jeans are good.
Yeah, they are. Holy moly.
Yeah, but as they get older, they get slower, things are deteriorating. He's very aware of that, and he, just kept telling my brother, he's like, I just don't know if I'll be able to make August, and we keep telling him, hey, like, the body follows the mind, just be optimistic. But because of that, my grandma and my grandpa really want to be fully indulged and there and present for the Chinese tradition. So for weddings, there's like a tea ceremony, and that's a very, very big deal. So, um, what they're doing the first week of March, my brother's having the ceremony, like the actual, like legitimate signing the papers and getting married on March 5th. And then March 9th, we're having the big tea ceremony. And then August, they're actually having the huge like shebang with the whole thing with everyone coming, friends and family. So there's like a lot of parts to this wedding. So that's yeah. So I'm back here, seeing family, just catching up with family, things that I really need to prioritize. I just haven't spent enough time with them. So that's where I am right now. So at least we're in somewhat of the same time zone, not 12 hours
Yes.
apart.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you're hanging out with family. I miss your mom. I wish I could see her. We
I
need to
know
plan
she
something
misses
soon.
you. Okay, you, me, and our moms need to have a trip. Oh my God, it'd be so fun.
That would be so fun. My mom would love that. We just got to plan
Okay, it's
something when
happening.
she's she just started her new job, so once I she gets like a better like hold of her schedule and stuff, we'll be able to plan something super soon.
Yes, I would love that. And my mom would love that too. Love, love,
Yay.
love.
Okay. Well, so yeah, so we wanted to really just discuss self-doubt and stuff today, especially like when we're in preps, it's so common. I mean, I
Mhm,
was on the phone with my client the other day and she was going through this. And I was telling her some of my experiences and stuff that my thought processes like all the time. Like, I'll text Cash and be like, like I'm not feeling good today. Like, are you sure that I look good? Like, I don't feel like I look very good. Like, I'll send my check in and I'm, down on myself. And, this sport brings a lot of picking ourselves apart. Like we already do that naturally. So this sport is going to
mhm,
amplify that. And it's very common no matter what level you're at, no matter how many preps I've done, no matter how many shows I've done, no matter what level I've done 4 Olympias. And it never changes. Every single prep I go through self-doubt. Every single prep I wonder if I made improvements. Every single prep I wonder if I'm leaning out fast enough, if I look, the way I'm supposed to be looking, if every time I go into a show, I never, ever, ever go into a show thinking, oh, I'm definitely going to win. Like, I never
mhm.
do that. I always go into a show like, oh my gosh, I have no clue how today is going to go. And that's never going to change. Like, it's something that I think is a good thing to have because it pushes us and it motivates us and it keeps us, going. So I'm glad that I don't have that, thought process of, oh, I just got it like that, like I am always going to remain grounded and just know that we never know what's going to happen when we get on stage. In our bodies, you can never predict what your body's going to do. Some preps are going to be slower, some preps, your body's going to respond quicker. And that's just the way that the human body is. You can't predict how it's going to respond from prep to prep, from week to week, and things like that. So I do really want to just dive into this because I think it's really important. And when I was talking to my client, she was like, I didn't even know that, pros thought about that. She's like, I honestly thought that, that was more for like newbies and amateurs, like that haven't really had that much experience. And I'm like, girl, no, I will call Cash crying like, "Oh my god, I look horrible." And it's like it's just I think it's like those goggles, right? It's like those prep goggles.
I mean, there's I think a difference with being nervous, being new, and just the unknown. So you're skeptical about things. But like you're saying, we are our own worst critics. And I think the more passionate you are about the sport and passionate and dedicated and driven you are, the more you are going to be hard on yourself. And self doubt is I think it's apparent in almost anyone who's well aware of where they are in their sport or their division or whatnot. I mean, there are times where I'm like, I wish I was so confident that I just thought I had it because when you're confident, it displays on stage. If you're nervous and you have self doubt, you can tell if you're hesitant. But if you can master that self doubt and turn it into okay, what can I change? What can I do to improve? Then that's how you need to look at it as a mind shift. But trust me, more than ever, I've had self doubt within the sport, and no matter being coaches as we are, we know things. We're well experienced and well versed, but I don't think there's ever going to be a moment when we think we have it all in the bag. I mean, at least you and I, as the athletes, I know we are. No matter if you win a show, you're still going to Olympia and you're still going to get compared to the best. No matter if you win second, you're going to be like, okay, well, why didn't I get first? And I think it is great, like you were saying, it's good to be able to see, okay, why do I have self doubt and what can I do to improve myself? But I don't think we're ever fully satisfied. And I think I think you and I had talked about the story, but when you and I, it was 2019. You and I were brand new pros. So yes, it was little fish in a big pond. And you and I competed at a few shows together, and you and I kept getting second call outs, the end of second calls. We were out of the top 10 majority of the time. And then you and I were like, okay, well, there's one more show left of the season. I'll see you in Texas. It was 2019 in Texas. It was the last show of the season. You and I went, and you're like, okay, well, we brought our best. We're going to do what we do, and whatever happens, happens. But at that time, at least for myself, I was really doubting, okay, do I even belong in this sport? Do I belong in bodybuilding because I'm not doing well? And you and I went and we got second and third. We got second and third at the last show. We were a few points away from Olympia qualification. We said, okay, no, we belong. And the thing is, with this sport is you're not going to be winning every single show. You're going to have good shows, good preps, bad preps. So you have to pick yourself up from that and keep pushing because that self-doubt is healthy unless you let it eat you alive.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do think it's one of those things where, I think we've discussed and talked about this just a little bit before. Like, you can get on stage and it's just your day, right? And it's like
Mhm.
everything is just aligning. And there's going to be days where just, man, everything's going wrong and the body just is being stubborn and all of those things. And, I don't want you girls to like feel alone or thinking like, oh, it's just me. I'm just having these thoughts. Like, no, pros have these thoughts. People that go to the Olympia have these thoughts.
Mhm.
And I just think that's normal. It comes with the sport. It's just a part of it. It's just something that, it's a competition, obviously. It's a competition with how you look. So you're obviously going to be picking yourself apart more than normal. And I do believe that, the confidence has to just be turned on when you get on stage. If you love and really just appreciate what the work you've been doing and know that, man, like, look at how far I've come. Like, look at the progress that I've made. You may not be satisfied as far as like, I know I'm just going to keep getting better type of thing. But at the same time, I'm always proud that day. Like, when I step on stage, I'm always like, man, like, look at this progress. This is crazy. Like, even though I know I can probably get better, this is the best right now. And this is the progress that I've made is like incredible. And to me, that's a win regardless. And I'm going to step on stage and be confident and show that off. Even if I'm a little nervous, even if I have some self-doubt, I'm always going to turn that on. Like, as soon as I get on
Mhm.
stage, you got to think of the stage as almost like you're acting. It's like you have to think of it as like you're putting on a show.
You are,
And if
yes,
you
exactly.
yeah, like, if you wanna think of, like, you're a different person, right? Like, let's say you're more shy, and, you're nervous and all those things, like, even though I have been doing this a long time, I'm still a shy person, like, it's really hard for me to, walk up to somebody and, like, introduce myself to them. I try and force myself to do that just because I know that it's good, but it is hard for me. I do get shy and I do get nervous, especially around a group of people that I don't know or like a bunch of competitors that I've never met before. I try my best to, be as friendly as possible and talk to people, but I do get really shy still. So I'm still working on that as well. And when I'm backstage, I'm like, okay, like, I just got to remind myself I need to put on that persona and I need to get on stage and like take that shyness away and just own the stage as much as possible, no matter how I'm feeling. I have to like disregard that feeling for those moments while I'm on stage because, like you said, Marissa, like, just being able to show that confidence is huge. Like, that's
Mhm.
really what's going to shine through to the judges is how confident you are. But that doesn't mean that it's not okay to feel nervous and to do all like to feel like, maybe a little bit not confident that day and stuff like that. It's okay to feel that way, but you got to make sure that when you step on that stage and those heels hit that stage, that has to change that instant. And you got to turn that on and you got to be, that actress that, you desire to be. Like, I'm always like, who do I think about and like who's sassy and who like,
Who is it?
like, yeah, like kills it, just like brings that sassiness out of me. Like, be that person, like get on that stage and be that person. So
Yes.
it's always important to talk to yourself and have those talks, right before you get on stage, because that's what's really going to show to the judges is your confidence level.
And honestly, I really love that your athlete brought this up and you were able to tell her, hey, like, you're not alone. And no matter what level you're at, there's some type of self doubt, regardless of if you're pro and amateur, well experienced or not. And, the more we talk about it, the more I think about, okay, well, where does this self doubt come from? It's normal, I do feel in a competitive sport to be nervous, to see, okay, your competition, but where does the self-doubt come from and what is inflicting that? And I think part of it is, okay, what's your support system? What's in your ear most of the time? Your coach, yes, should be, very stern with you and be real, like, okay, we're on track, we're not on track. Your shoulders are not where they need to be, your glutes need to grow. That's your weakness. Here's your strong points, but are they criticizing you with constructive criticism, or are they criticizing you to put you down? Okay, maybe that's maybe a reason why you have that self-doubt. What's your other support system look like? Your friends, your family, your significant other, because like we've talked about before, this sport needs a support system. It is a lonely sport, but you need a support system that can help you. And I'm not saying a support system that blows, smoke up your butt, but someone who understands, okay, you need to work on this, work on that. Let me help you and not put you down. And I think that's part of it because, all in all, what we're doing in this sport is getting on stage and allowing strangers to judge us on what's good and what's bad about our naked body almost. So it's easy to have that self-doubt with this sport, but what's your support system look like? And I feel like that's a huge factor in how we view ourselves.
You know what else is huge? I think that girls need to get off of social media if they're going into a
Yes,
show. Like, don't look at people who are competing. Don't go and search people's names and wonder what your competition looks like. Don't do that. You know what? Like, it doesn't matter because at the end of the day, you could absolutely love someone's physique and just be like, oh my gosh, they look freaking awesome. There's no way I
hmm
can compete with this girl. Like, oh my gosh. And then the judges are like, like I prefer you better. So you don't have control over that. Just because you love someone's physique and you think that they look better than you, that doesn't mean that the judges are going to think that. So you're allowing something
absolutely.
to infiltrate your mindset and get in the way of your confidence before you even allow everything to unfold and allow the judges to, take what they want to take out of, the bodies that are on stage. So just because you think that, and let me tell you something else, just because somebody looks great a week out, 2 weeks out, a couple days out, they could be stressed as hell before they get on stage. They could have a horrible peak. They could, just everything could just go wrong that day. Like it's like they looked so good 3 days out. They looked so good 3 weeks out, whatever the case is. And then that day is just it just wasn't their day. It's like, man, you weren't even close to what I thought you looked like. And this whole time I'm getting worked up and making myself like nervous. And now I don't have confidence, all because of what? It's like you create those own thoughts in your head. You are in control of that. So as long as you can control your thoughts going into shows, you're going to have a much better stage present and a much better show on stage.
Absolutely. And I think another thing to piggyback off of that is, you see, XYZ is going to be in your class because she's, your height and whatnot. And you're looking at her. And I've had athletes say this to me as well. You don't know basically how long they've been prepping. You don't know, or if you do know, they may have just done 2 or 3 shows. So you may be 10 weeks out and she's doing the same show you are at nationals, but she's been prepping for 10 weeks earlier than you. So of course she looks leaner. Of course she looks more conditioned right now because you still have 10 weeks to go. So stressing out about how they look, like you said, right now is not always going to translate to the stage in X amount of weeks. So, don't put that on yourself because it is going to stress you out more. And there are times, trust me, I want to hop off social media because self-doubt is hugely inflicted by what we see on social media. It's so easy to compare ourselves in all aspects to other people. But, obviously, work for you and I is on social media. So it's very, very hard for me to do that. And honestly, I don't know if people would think this is, I'm doing a little bit too much, but things or people that I see, I feel cause a negative um headspace for me, whether that be me comparing them or maybe even things they say. I just mute them. It doesn't mean I don't like them as a person or a friend, but it just means, hey, protecting my headspace. And if that's what you need to do, then do that. Social media can be a great thing, but it could also be a very dangerous thing. So you, as an athlete, as a person, need to navigate what's best for you in your headspace.
Yeah, and you really just need to be honest with yourself and be like, okay, what's causing me stress right now? What's causing me to, have this self-doubt? What's causing me to, feel these negative thoughts? If there are little things that are triggering you and things that you're like, oh my gosh, like I'm noticing I'm, looking up girls and wondering what they look like and it's making me, feel crazy, then it's like, okay, well then that being on social media probably isn't going to be the best for you right now. And even though it's kind of hard to be off social media because it's just like some people get bored and they want to go on there, just try and find something else to do to fill your time. So that way at least your headspace is in a good place, because out of sight, out of mind. Like that's what I like to do. Like when I go into the Olympia, like I know all the top girls are going to be posting, their YouTubes, they're going to be posting, their photo shoots, they're going to be posting, their workouts and stuff like that. You know what I do? If I'm making a post, I get on there, I make a post, I don't scroll, I don't look at people's stories. I just get on my own page, I post my stuff, I comment back to my people, I will respond to my DMs, but I don't look through anybody's stuff. I don't scroll the page. I don't look at their stories, nothing like that. I will do that for weeks before I get on stage. And it just helps me so much because I just know, like, I already know they're going to look freaking phenomenal. I don't need to see it.
Yeah.
Like, I already know that. Like, I already know my competition is insane. I know the level I'm at, and I don't want to see it. I just want to focus on myself. I just want to go to the gym, check off all the boxes, do what I need to do, and I'll fill my time doing other things. I don't need to scroll on social media. When I'm on cardio, I'll listen to podcasts or I'll watch, a YouTube that's, like an entertaining YouTube or a movie or, whatever, or I'll call someone. I'll literally call someone. I'll be like, oh my gosh, I have 30 minutes to pass by. I'm going to call my mom and I'll talk to my mom for 30 minutes, or I'm going to call my best friend and talk to her and, just talk about nothing for 30 minutes. So
It me.
it's yeah, it's you. It's just one of those things that's like, okay, what can I do right now besides be on social media? And I think that the more you pay attention to those little triggers, the more you're going to be able to navigate your headspace so much better. And if you can go into a show with a really good headspace, I swear it's going to make the biggest difference for you when you get on stage.
Yeah. I mean, I think a prep with a negative self-doubting headspace mindset is it's just going to eat you alive. You just as much as you have to prime your body for a show, you've got to prime your mind. And it's I know it sounds so cliche, but that's where it really needs to come into, okay, you need to self-reflect. What causes me both internal and external for me to feel this way? And how can I change my mind to say, okay, I'm doubting this, but how can I turn that into a lesson or push me to be better? And it's just we're just here to emphasize that we're all human, no matter how big your social media is, how amazing you are at the sport, how many wins you have on stage. We're all human and we all have self doubt. None of us are perfect. And, just for example, people are always going to find something wrong or criticize. For example, Chris Bumstead wins all these titles, Mr. Olympia. Once he wins a title, there's someone criticizing him the next day. You're never going to get everyone's approval, but you have to be happy with yourself. So, you're not going to get everyone to love you and like you, but hey, you need your support system to be there for you and love you along the way. And you have to love yourself. You have to be happy with yourself. And I think that's where self doubt stems from. You have to be content with who you are and where you are in this, whether it's work, relationships, competing. You've got to be happy with yourself, and everything else falls into place with that.
Yeah, I was doing cardio when I was prepping for the Olympia, and I was watching one of it was like a Q&A with Chris Bumstead, and he was actually talking about that because someone was like, how do you feel about, going into shows, keeping your headspace clear? They were talking about that. And he was like, I just stay off social media and I do what I got to do. He's like, I'm not worried about no one else but me. And I just do
Hmm.
what I got to do. And, it's true. Like, especially when you get to those higher levels, but even as an amateur and even as a newbie, like it's still really important to have those, really positive mindsets and those clear headspaces. And it's really important to just pay attention to those things and not cloud yourself with negativity, because it's easy to do. It's very easy to do, especially when, you see people that look good. And it's crazy because it's just like everybody's at different levels. Like we're all at different levels. So take what level you're at and be like, okay, this is the level that I'm at. Why, if I'm an amateur and I'm, not even at the national level yet, why am I comparing myself to a pro? Or why am I
Hmm.
comparing myself to somebody that has years and years of experience underneath their belt? Because it's just like it's going to eat you alive thinking that you're not good enough, when in fact I was right where you were. I was exactly where you were at the time you were at it. So it's just one of those things that I think that we just see all of these, like, incredible people and their success, and their hard work in their body and stuff, and then you compare it to where you're at to them, and it's like you can't compare those because they're completely different. And you always want to make sure to keep yourself like that reality check, like, oh yeah, like I still have a long ways to go, I'm not even close to that, but I'll get there, like I'm gonna get there, like that's motivation, I'm gonna get there. That's the type of mindset you want to have for yourself, is like if you see somebody that you look up to, like a pro, or anybody, could just be like an influencer that you follow, that you like their physique, um and you're just now starting. It's like you look up to those people, but don't ever compare yourself and be like, oh, I'm not good enough, or I don't look as good as them. So and feed yourself those negative thoughts, because it's just not healthy. And this sport is so known for just unhealthy things. Unfortunately, it really does bring a
Hmm.
lot of um, mental health problems. It brings a lot of body dysmorphia. It brings a lot of bad relationships with food. It really does. And I think that the more you can really just hone in on those things and pay attention to those things, and like you said, like have just a good support system, I think it's going to make the world of a difference. Navigating through preps, and then obviously having, like, a good coach that's going to be real with you, but also give you the love and the attention and all of the, positive affirmations that you need. But also give you that tough love when the tough love is needed, to make sure that you're staying on track and you're going to be your most optimal self.
Exactly, exactly. And I mean, I couldn't have said it better. And I do think, when it comes to when you're saying like people comparing themselves to people who are at different levels, that may also hold you back. If you're constantly looking at person XYZ and they are years advanced than you, and now you have all this self doubt, and now, maybe you're not trying, or maybe you want to quit. So you prevent yourself from even getting to that point because you're scared of where you're at now, and maybe you're not good enough. And that's exactly what Ash said, is don't allow that to hold you back. So don't be afraid to ask questions so that you can get better. Don't let the self-doubt eat you, because how are you ever going to move forward if you don't allow yourself that opportunity? Ask the questions, go up to the people in the sport that you feel are above you as far as experience, and pick their brains, because how are you going to progress from where you are right now and one up where you are right now, unless you open yourselves up to opportunity, advice, and other people's experiences? For instance, I don't think I'd be where I am with experience or knowledge if I didn't let people teach me along the way. Self doubt also comes from not knowing. So, literally be a sponge in this sport and in life, because the more you learn, the more you are aware that you don't know everything, the more you're going to learn. And that's just going to help fuel you within whatever self doubt that you have.
Yeah, it's just going to add growth to you. It's just going to help
Hmm.
you grow mentally. It's going to help you grow as a person. And it's not, it's nothing to be ashamed of. It's nothing to be ashamed of
No,
to not
no,
know.
yeah.
Like, if you don't know something, like, even if it's something that, you feel like, oh my gosh, this is silly, like I should know that. It's like, I probably didn't know that too until I, learned it from someone or asked questions or whatever. So, it's not ignorant to have these thoughts and these feelings and stuff. What's
Hmm.
ignorant to me is when you don't want to try and figure things out, or ask questions, or want to really just get more knowledge and more information. And if you just constantly think like, I know it all, I don't need to ask questions or get, information from anybody else, like, then I feel like that's going to really hold you back, like you were saying. And, it's good to have, conversations with people, because guess what? They're probably wondering the same thing you are. They're probably like, oh my gosh, I don't know that
Yes.
either. Let's figure it out.
Yeah, and I think that comes with everything, when people are going through bad relationships with food, they don't voice it because, maybe they're embarrassed. And then when they finally voice it to a teammate or a coach, they realize, okay, a lot of people have gone through this. But same thing with body dysmorphia, same thing with just, compare, like right now that we're talking about self-doubt, comparing yourself to others. More likely than not, everyone around you who's in the same, industry or sport has gone through the same thing or is going through the same thing. So allowing yourself to say, hey, like, what's your perspective on this? Do you feel that way too? That allows you to have a buddy to go through it with. Not everyone's going to understand what you're going through, but when you finally find people who do, you're going to be able to navigate yourself through it. So be open and vulnerable with people that you trust, which is, should be your support system, your friends, your significant other, your coach. And then, ask questions. Okay, how did you get through this? And I guess we can just segue, what has helped you get through your self-doubt? And what do you do, going forward to keep on improving on that headspace?
I think, like, it just stems from knowing I'm giving 100%. That really helps me with my self-doubt, because I always say, if I'm doing everything I'm supposed to be doing and I really am giving 110% and I'm checking off every single box I need to do, what else can you do? Why would I beat myself up? Why would I put talk down on myself or think I wasn't good enough if I am truly doing everything I'm supposed to do? And you know what? This is the harsh reality. This sport isn't for everybody, and it's okay. If you try something and you really give it your all, and it's just something that you're like, man, I really want this to work out, but maybe for some reason it's just not working out in the way that you thought, then that is okay. It's okay to be like, okay, well, I gave this everything. I gave this everything I have, and I did X, Y, and Z, checked off all the boxes. If that's something that happens to you, and it's okay to be like, okay, this when I went into this sport, I told myself, hey, this may not be for me. I don't know. I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to do everything I can, and we'll see what happens. And I
Hmm.
never in a million years thought that I would have had the success that I have today. Not I never went into this thinking that. I just did it, for fun, because I was kind of like a hobby back then, and I was just like, I just want to do this, see what happens. And I think that knowing that, you know, I've had so many, I've had so many downs, I've had so many losses, I've had so many downs. And I've always had those thoughts in my head, like, maybe this just isn't what, I'm getting close, but I'm just not there. I'm getting so close, but I'm just not there. And
Hmm.
I think what really helps me and what keeps me going is that, to be honest, I just love the drive. I love
Yes.
how, like, detail oriented it's made me. There's other things that I look at. I love how it's made me branch out as a person. It's made me not as shy. It's really opened my eyes to a lot of other things, not just related to, workouts or diet, but just other things in life that is kind of like segued for me. And I'm like, okay, like, this is actually something that's really beneficial for me. It's making me, grow as a person, and that's something that's really important to me. And so I kept it around, and I just ended up, being able to be successful at it. But I truly just loved everything that came along with it, and what it was doing for me, and how positive my life was with it. I think that if
Yes.
you're doing something that's making your life positive, there's so many things to look at that are like, good things to look at, versus just like vanity, versus just like the way you look. Like, that was a huge thing for me, as far as like, I loved the progress. I loved the way I felt in clothes. I loved the way, I was like, man, like, I'm getting that confidence, and I love that. And I think every woman wants that. And I think that when you really truly give everything to something, and you love all the other factors that come into it that are adding positivity to your life, I think that that's a huge thing to look at. And I think that's a reason why I'm not so hard on myself. And like, when that self doubt does creep in, I just remind myself of how far I come, and how I remind myself, I'm progressing. I love the way I feel when I'm training. I love the way I feel when I look in the mirror. I love to be a motivation and an inspiration for other women. That drives me. And I just
Hmm.
want to be that positive, person for people to look up to, because I do think that dreams can come true. I do think that, the wildest things could happen if you truly put your heart and soul into something. And I think that I just constantly tell myself, like, there's going to be downs, there's going to be losses, there's going to be, preps that are hard. But if I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing at the end of the day, that fulfills me and that makes me happy.
Oh, I love that. Absolutely love that.
And like for you, like what do you feel like is something that really helps you, Like what do you think about?
I think, I mean, you touched a lot on how I've approached my headspace, and a lot of that honestly stems from being your friend. And when I've been down, I've talked to you a lot. You are the first person I go to after a show, whether it's good or bad. And you already know where my headspace is even before I hop on a call with you. And the way you talk me through things is, okay, what do we take out of this? What is the positive thing we take out of this? And it sounds so sappy and cliche, but if you fixate so much on, oh, I got third place, I didn't win, yada yada yada. Okay, well, what place did you get last time? Okay, you won that. You got fifth last time, you got third this time. Okay, what's the feedback? Okay, they said to work on your shoulders, but your glutes are exactly where they need to be. Okay, and this is basically my experience. Okay, I worked years to get my legs down and my glutes to where they need to be. And the last show I did, the judge said, "Hey, you finally got your lower half exactly where we want it. Now let's work on the shoulders." I'm like, okay, wow, I finally succeeded in what I've been told I need to change and change. And, a lot of that is shift your perspective. What are you taking away from this? What's the lesson? Not, don't dwell on, I didn't get this, I didn't get that. What did you get from it? And that's, how I shift my mind from self doubt to, okay, how do I learn from this? How do I grow from this? And, a lot of it also, what you were saying is, what's your why? You're going to have downfalls, you're going to have fails, and you're going to have successes, but what's keeping you going? And yours is the passion that you have for it and helping women, and I'm in the same boat. I absolutely love this sport and coaching in my career because of what it gives to others and what it gives to me. It gives me a purpose, and my why is to continue to help others, continue to use my life and my experiences to not just grow myself, but help other women along the way, because like we said, everyone has been in the same spot and position, but sometimes we didn't have the advice that maybe you and I can give our athletes. We didn't always have uh, a figure that we could look up to and ask questions to and lean on, and we want to be able to provide that support for our girls. And that a lot for me, I truly believe God has put me through every up and down, both in my life and both in competition and bodybuilding, so that I can help my girls. And it's crazy because so many of my athletes come to me with X, Y, and Z issues and self doubt and um, chaos in their life, and they need something to focus on to give them purpose. And I can say 8 times out of 10, I can tell them I've been through that, and I know exactly how you're feeling. And if I was in that position again, this is what I would do because this is my experience. So the self doubt, the way I get out of it, or make it into a positive, is shifting my mindset into not fixating on what's so bad about what happened, but what could be better.
I love that. And that really hit home for me just because, like, when you speak about, the girls that you're inspiring and motivating and just wanting, like basically God putting you here on this earth to be able to navigate some of these women through some of the toughest times in their life. Like, I have had, an athlete literally call me just in tears almost every single night, just being like, Ashlyn, I don't know what to do. Like, this relationship that I'm in is just tearing me apart completely. And after my divorce, like I went I would speak to her for an hour if I had to on the phone, and I would just tell her, like, your self-worth is so much better than what you're being given, and I just want you to know that you're worth so much more than this. And I ended up basically staying with her all the way through her breakup and everything. And she ended up leaving the guy that she was with for years and moved to Hawaii, and she called me when she was in Hawaii, and she was like, I just wanted to let you know you saved my life. Like, everything that you went through and all your experiences and you just helping me navigate through this. Like this truly changed my life and you are the reason for that. And I'm like getting emotional right now thinking about it because it's
Oh,
seriously like
thanks.
it's definitely like a blessing in disguise, the fact that we have to go through some of the hardest things that we have to go through. But being able to share those with other women and just tell them like you're not alone. Like some of the most, it doesn't matter how beautiful you are, it doesn't matter, how successful you are. Like we still, all those women still go through those type of things. Like they always, people always think that it's just them, and it's like no, it's so many of us that have to go through, some of the toughest times. So being able to be that support for these women, I think is like just one of the greatest blessings I've ever received, like ever. Like I thank God every single day that I get to have this opportunity to be able to have the platform that I have for women to look up to us, that I'm able to touch all these women's hearts and just like be there for them in their tough times. I think that's one of my favorite things about being a coach is just being able to be there for these women when they're going through tough times, and then whenever they come out of that, and then on top of that they're adding confidence because their body's changing, and I'm helping them with their mindset, and I'm helping them learn how to navigate their thoughts in a better way. It's just one of those things where I'm like, I couldn't be more grateful to be able to be in this position and have that opportunity. And you know um it's definitely something that's a challenge because it breaks my heart. I almost feel like a therapist sometimes because it does break my heart, like hearing these women have to go through this, because I'm like, y'all are amazing, like y'all don't deserve this, but just having those
Mhm.
experiences, I know that God has put me through some of the hardest times, and same for you, just so we're able to help these women get through some of the toughest times in their life. It's awesome to be able to help them.
Like literally, you took the words out my mouth. And I don't think I ever thought I'd be in this position where I could help women that I've never, never met in person. But we've somehow, some way, God put us in contact, and now they're one of my athletes. And I think He works in amazing ways where He puts women in our lives because He knows we can help them. And and honestly, it's not a one-way street. They help me. Athletes, and I'm sure you get the same athletes to say, "Oh, I love seeing you do your workouts and your preps. It inspires me." I said, "You have no idea how much you inspire me." Seeing women who, I've been in their position before, but they're 10 times better than I was when I was starting, or even in the midst of their career. And I look at them and I say, I admire you guys for your work ethic and your drive and knowing things that they've gone through that I haven't even gone through some of it, crazy things with relationships and family, or losses. And to see them pick themselves up is amazing. For example, one of my athletes, her daughter just passed away, her baby girl. And there a child should never go before a parent, never. And she let me know, I'm in the hospital, I can't check in for the next few weeks. We're gonna plan the funeral. I said, you take your time, you just let me know what you need me to do. And they planned the funeral, they went to Hawaii. She comes back and she's like, I need to start this plan with you, and I want to do a show because I'm doing this for her. She was so lively, so fit and healthy, and she loves seeing me do this program. And this client still has two baby boys, and she says, I'm not just doing it for her, but I'm doing it for them. And I can't let this deter me because I need to be strong. And oh my gosh, I just started crying. I was like, I don't know how you have that strength, but I admire it, and I'm here for you every step of the way. And I can't even imagine going through that. So, just as much as we can inspire those and help those around us, you ladies help us tenfold.
Oh my gosh, it's so true. It's so true. Like I'll be reading some of my clients' check-ins. I'm like, oh my gosh, y'all are freaking warriors. Like literally, y'all are warriors. Like it's absolutely incredible, and it fuels me so much to just be my freaking best. I'm like, if they can go through this, I can go through anything. Like,
Yes.
it literally does fuel me in the most positive way, just to be that rock for them, because they are a rock in their family. They're a rock for those people that are around them and for themselves. And I'm just like, man, you guys are freaking awesome. So it's definitely something that, drives us. And I'm just so glad that bodybuilding has brought so many incredible people and women and just things and opportunities to my life, which is why I just love it so much. I like can't get enough of it. It's like no matter how many days I have that I'm down, I just tell myself, this is normal. This is so normal. I'm allowed to have these
Mm-hmm.
days. I'm going to be down today. It's just not my day, but tomorrow is going to be better and I'm just going to let myself sit in this. This is fine. Tomorrow we're going to have a better day. And as long as you're aware of your thoughts, I think you're able to navigate so much easier. As long as you're okay, you have to be okay with having bad days. Like it's not always going to be a good day. And you have to just be like, damn, today it ain't it. Today's not it. But that's okay. Tomorrow will be better or next week will be better. And we're just gonna, keep pushing, keep moving on. But don't ever think that just because you have some bad days or some bad weeks that, it's the end all be all, because that's not. It's just your mindset. You have to just train your mindset constantly to be like, let me take what I can out of this. Let me sit in this for a minute. Let me have this bad day and then we're going to move on from it. We're going to pick ourselves up, we'll dust ourselves off, and we're going to keep going because life ain't stopping for nobody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you either get with it or you allow yourself to sit and, whatever it is for however long, but you're just wasting time. You're wasting precious, precious time that you may never get back. And that's just something that you have to constantly think like, once this is done, this is done. And the next day is time's ticking. So enjoy the most that you can with yourself and with the process. Enjoy the process. It's tough some days, and that's okay. But as long as you are constantly reminding yourself like, okay, I'm just going to keep pushing, keep going forward, and we're going to get there. It's just a matter of time. So just be patient with yourself and give yourself grace and know that, not every day is going to be perfect, and when you have those days, allow yourself to feel that and then move on from it.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And like just like you said, I mean, I really couldn't say it any better, but just knowing that it's not the end all be all. You can't sit in it forever. You sit in it for the moment to learn from it, but keep pushing forward because at the end of the day, you're the only one who can control the outcome. So whatever happens to you is for a reason, and it's meant for you to grow from and learn from.
Yes, I love this episode so much. Like
Me too. You got me so
I
emotional.
I know, my gosh, but I'm so glad that you guys tuned in today. We seriously appreciate it so much and all the feedback, which my clients that are listening, all of you guys that have been giving me feedback, y'all are freaking awesome. My clients will message me. They'll be like, I just want to give you feedback on the podcast. I'm like, oh my God, I love this.
Yes, yeah, and like to my girls too. They haven't given me feedback, but they'll just say, "I just listened to you and your best friend's podcast, and I love it." I said, "I love it too." But I forgot to tell you. So we'll let the listeners know this. So I actually called because I'm going back to San Diego next week. And the surgeons that did our breast augmentation, I made sure that they were tagged in the video or the Instagram post. So I called because I needed to make an appointment for like Botox and stuff. And the nurse who picked up was our nurse, Daisy, and she just had a baby. And she's like, "Oh, hi, Marissa." I was like, "Hey, Daisy." And she's like, before we say anything, she's like, I just want to tell you something, some feedback on your podcast with you and Ashton." And I thought she was going to say, like, we said something wrong about like the surgeries and the breast augmentations. I was like, "Yeah, yeah, give it to me." She's like, "I really want you guys to do a visual because I want to see you guys." I was like, "Oh my gosh, Daisy, I love you." And she's like, I like love listening, but I really want to see you guys. I said, "Don't worry, it's coming soon."
I miss
She's so
Daisy. She
sweet.
was so nice.
Best nurse ever.
Oh my gosh, that is so funny. Well, I love it. And I love that everybody is tuning in. And hopefully, you guys can take something positive out of this and, put it towards yourself and your preps and your off seasons and, anything that you guys want us to discuss. Will definitely, I want this to be as transparent and authentic as it possibly can because, there's so many different sides to preps and off seasons and all of that, and I want you guys to know that there are many sides and it's not always rainbows and peaches like it looks like on Instagram. Don't let Instagram fool you. Don't let social media fool you. I have days where I don't want to freaking do anything. I will be like, I do not want to go to this workout. I do not want to eat this food. I do not want to do this cardio. and it's normal. You just do it. If you committed to something, just do it. And at the end of the day, you'll be super happy that, you're like, okay, I made it through this day. Tomorrow we got to do it again. And, it gets tough sometimes, but we want to be on here and we want to be able to let you know that, you guys are not feeling things that are out of the normal. Like everything is, it's to be expected, and it just comes with the sport. And we just want to be as transparent as possible with that. So like seriously appreciate every single person that tunes in, that messages us, giving us feedback, and, like, comment, subscribe, share, all the things. And we just love you guys and we really appreciate it.
Yes, yes, 20 could have said it better. Just like for one thing, when we put these question blocks out, don't hold back, guys. Like we want to dive into the depths of anything and everything you want to know. So any questions, any topics, please don't hold back at all.
Yeah, it doesn't even have to be about bodybuilding or preps or off season. It could be about anything. If there's just life
Yeah.
things that you want to know about, anything that you guys are just like, this will be a fun topic, or this is just interesting, or maybe it's something that you're going through. If it's
Mm-hmm.
something that you're going through yourself and it's just you want to hear somebody else's perspective, share it with us and we'll definitely try and touch on it, and keep you guys in the loops. But again, we appreciate you guys, and we will be back next week.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Well, love you loads, TOL family, and love you, 20. We will talk to you next week.
Yes, love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye.